He spent just over half his life under the Cuban communist regime's rigid control.
The idea and expectations and future that I had planned.
But Democrats don't want President Trump to have any federal projects, buildings, statues, or land named after him. They introduced a bill late last month that would prevent all of this, called the No Glory for Hate Act. The bill stops any president who's been impeached twice from using federal funds to commemorate their achievements, get staff, an office, travel expenses, and a pension. It would even prevent President Trump from being buried at the Arlington National Cemetery. California Representative Linda Sanchez introduced the bill, and it has 13 Democrats co-sponsors. It's unclear how far this bill would go, but it was last referred to a committee on February 4th. Council members in a major West Coast city have voiced support for communist-ruled Cuba. However, a self-made Cuban immigrant living nearby tells a very different story. NTD's Echo Lu has more.
Julio Ortiz is the owner of the Twisted Cuban Cafe and Bar in the city of Woodinville. He is an author, a collector, and an entrepreneur. Now at 46 years old, he spent just over half his life under the Cuban communist regime's rigid control.
It obligated me to leave Cuba, to leave the country, to leave my culture, my mom, my dad, my family, and all the idea and expectations and future that I had planned out. What future? There's no future in Cuba, and that's the reason why I left.
Ortiz left behind his life in Cuba to pursue his dream in America when he was 24. He was studying to become a doctor, but the communist government decided they didn't need any more and prohibited him from his studies.
They don't care about your rights. They don't care about your freedom of speech. They don't care about absolutely nothing. And that's the reason why I got out. They select who they want to go to school or not.
Now he owns several businesses in Washington state. He also wrote his own book, Escape from Cuba, to tell both his children and the world his story under a communist regime.
Well, my comment on Cuban communism is I compare it to COVID-19. Very simple. So I'll prefer to deal with the COVID-19 virus, even though it's killing a lot of people, but it's killing them fast. The communism kills people slowly. They kill your ideas. They kill your mentality. They kill your rights.
Ortiz knows what communism would mean for the United States.
Well, I think promoting Cuban communism in this country, not just Seattle, just in this country in general, it is just a way to kill our society.
Ortiz's comments come at the same time that two Seattle council members have voiced their support for Cuban communism. Councilwoman Teresa Mosqueda recently retweeted a post promoting communist Cuba. In January, she and Councilwoman Shama Sawant passed a resolution calling for collaboration with Cuba from the Biden administration.
It destroyed my family. It destroyed all my opportunities in education and physically, mentally, psychologically. It destroyed everything, as it still destroys a lot of people in Cuba right now.
Despite the damage inflicted on his family and life, Ortiz lives by a simple motto.
In the back it says, I've never had a bad day in my life.
He said he hasn't been back to Cuba since publishing his book and knows trouble may await him back home.
It has to be done. It's my life, and I'll prefer to die instead of hiding it.
Reporting by Echo Liu, NTD News, Washington.
And that new poll reveals that more Republicans now consider Trump the best president in U.S. history. He beats out Ronald Reagan, Abraham Lincoln, and George Washington to lead the poll. Trump more than triples his results since 2018. The new Economist YouGov survey shows Trump moving from 10 to 36% among Republicans, calling him the best president ever. Reagan now drops to second, going from 36 to 18%. Lincoln and Washington follow third and fourth. In a recent interview, Trump says that he's the only guy who gets impeached and his numbers go up. The poll is the latest data point suggesting Trump remains enormously popular among Republicans. The governor of New York is under a microscope, being accused of wrongdoing from Democrats and Republicans. A newspaper claims that federal agents are now getting involved. NTD's Miguel Moreno has that update.
This hasn't been a good week for Governor Andrew Cuomo. The problem started a few days ago when his secretary admitted to withholding nursing home data because Trump's Department of Justice could use it against them. Cuomo's being accused of a cover-up, obstructing justice, threatening state politicians, and now the FBI and DOJ have apparently launched an investigation into his team. An Albany newspaper broke the news, saying they're in the early stages and focusing on the governor's team. The U.S. Attorney's Office got back to us and said they have no comment. We'll leave you to interpret that one. Assemblyman Ron Kim is one out of 9 Democrats accusing Cuomo of obstructing justice. He says Cuomo has harassed him, told him to retract his statements, and to lie for him.
And the governor called for about 10 minutes, it seemed like 1 hour, berating, yelling, and threatening that I have to issue a statement that invalidated what I heard. He asked me to lie to cover up for his staff.
Governor Cuomo has called Kim a liar, saying no one asked him to be part of a cover-up. He also admitted to withholding nursing home data after state politicians asked for it. But he hasn't explained why they would be worried about the DOJ using this data against them. We'll give you more updates as that story develops. So let's move on to a disabled, maskless man in a British supermarket called Morrison's. He recorded this moment where staff asked him to put on a yellow sticker to exempt him from their mask policy. Well, he turned it down and things escalated.
The more to explain to other people within the store that you are exempt. And
I shouldn't need to explain to other people really. I've got a medical exemption, that should be enough. I shouldn't have to declare my medical exemption, that's a discrimination act then.
Workers there apparently called the police on this man, but we couldn't confirm this. As you can imagine, the store was fiercely criticized online, some drawing parallels to how Nazis forced Jews to identify themselves with yellow badges. The store did get back to us. They apologized for what happened to this man. They said that they're investigating it and confirmed that sticker wearing for the disabled is not part of their policy. Now let's touch on those virus trends. The 7-day death average is falling down 30% across the country from their peak on the 13th of January. And you can see a drop across the board. 7-day averages for daily cases and hospitalizations have gone down since that January peak. As nice as that data is, the CDC director says the different variants that are spreading in the U.S. could lead to another wave in the spring when people start loosening up. She says her job is to prepare for the worst and hope for the best.